A man sits at a table. There are many children sitting with him. The children are hungry. They need to leave for school, but there is not no food, and there is no money to pay for food. The man begins to pray. He says, "Dear God, thank you for what you are going to give us to eat." Just then, there is a knock on the door. A man who makes redder is looking for the man who prayed. He says, "I could not sleep last night. I felt like you and the children would not have bread to eat this morning. So I woke up early and made you bread." As soon as the bread makes leaves, there is another knock on the door. Now it is a man who sells milk. This man says he kept cross in the front of their house. He needs to empty the cats on the shore. Can he fish it? The man says he would love to give the fresh milk to all the children. The children now has all the food they need for milk. God has answered the man's prayer. This amazing story really happened. It was only on the many amazing things the man who prayed is parent. Today's spotlight is on this man, George Müller. George Müller was born in Prussia in 1505. Prussia is now Germany. As a young man, Müller did a lot of bad things. He lied to his friends and he stole money. When Müller was 60 years old, he went to prison for cheating. He was in prison for 20 days. During those days, he started to think about his past choices. As a young man at university, Müller was very intelligent and studied a lot. He earned money by helping other students, but he drank a lot of alcohol. And he owed money to people. He also continued to lie. But good people can help just lie all the other people. Müller has a friend named Peter. Peter loved God. He made different choices. Müller, for example, when Müller wanted to go to the place to drink, Peter wanted to go to a private garden. One night, Müller went to the prayer garden with Peter. He was surprised that people there welcomed him with real care. Müller was also amazed at how the people there loved God. When the people prayed, Müller felt something special. He understood that he wanted to love God too. Müller describes that night as that night something is like chance. Over time, Müller stopped drinking alcohol, living and spending time with friends. He became a church leader in England, and on October 7, 1830, he married a woman named Mary Gross. Müller wrote about getting married. After a lot of praise, getting married was the best choice for me. I have never regretted it, and I desire to thank God for having given me such a wife. George and Mary Müller made many difficult choices together. 1 month after beginning marriage, Müller gave up the money the church paid him to do his job. They decided to fully trust God to provide all the money they would need. 1 month later, George and Mary had very little money. Müller prayed and asked God for help. 4 hours later, a woman from the church offered him money. She said that God had to help Müller with that gift. Something similar happened there months later. Müller kept a record about his life. In it, he wrote many examples like this of how God answered his prayers. Sometimes it was difficult to trust God, but very time God promised he and Mary who praised him. Because they God were caring for them, George and Mary wanted to take care of others in need. In England in 1835, cholera killed many people. Many children lost their parents, and they had not family. The orphan children had to live on the streets, and they did not have any phone. So Müller and Mary decided to start an orphanage. There they would care for the orphans. Müller wrote, I wanted to care for poor children whose parents had died. I also wanted to help to know God, but most importantly, I wanted them to know how important it is to have prayer and faith. I wanted them to know that God is faithful and His praise. Many people helped Müller with his plan to build an orphan's house. Some people sent money, some offered tables and pets. Others said they would come and help care for the farms. With all this help, Müller and Mary opened their Việt open home on 11 1836. 7 months later, they opened another house, and 1 year later, they opened the house. Soon the orphan house were full of children. This made them very loud. People who lived around the orphan house started to become angry about the noise. Müller began to look for a new location. He found a piece of land for the house. It cost a lot of money, but Müller continued to trust God. A man offered to create plans for the new home without being paid, or the people offered money. Müller decided not to start building until he had all the money to complete a very part of the project. And 2 years later, the new open house was finished. By 1870, Müller had opened 5 different open houses. He cared for over 2,000 orphans. When building the house, Müller never took a loan. He never went into debt. He continued to pray and to trust God to provide. The man who used to steal never stole again. The man who used to care only for himself provided home for others. George Müller legend, and he delights others. He became a faithful father to many, who cares for orphans in your community. Other houses like the one Müller studied. Tell us what you think. You can leave a comment on the website or email us at radio@radioenglish.net. You can also comment Facebook and facebook.com/Spotlight Radio.